Recently, we've had a resurgence of fast-paced shooter games. New classics like Doom 2016 and Wolfenstein: The New Order revive the genre's focus on speed and strafing after the decade-long obsession publishers had with knockoff Gears of War-style cover shooters. So Robocop Rogue City stands so far apart from contemporary titles because it decides instead to prioritize methodical, slower-paced, sluggish combat. For a Robocop game, I'd call that a genius move. There's really no other way to capture this character, and the whole game plays like a higher quality, more fleshed out version of that Juggernaut suit section that padded out one of the later sections of some forgettable Call of Duty game. I think Modern Warfare 3? Unlike that COD mission though, this works out in the long term. The maps have been designed with plenty of corners that provide natural cover from the majority of bullet fire, and the focus on detail over size means that crossing the environments at Robocop's signature slow walking speed means exploring rarely has time to become a drag. Which is perfect because when I'm playing a Robocop game, you can be damn sure I'll be meticulously striding down those neon-lit streets with not a single solitary sense of urgency. Unfortunately for my role-playing sensibilities, the combat in the game requires some actual concentration. The game might visually scan enemies, just like the film version of Robocop, but it's only cosmetic, meaning you'll get little to no auto-aim assistance here. Instead, you'll need to pay attention and manually blow the heads off those criminal creeps. The game isn't that tough, and really, the only few occasions when I died were because I was too busy role-playing the bulky Robocop and ended up moving way too slow for the hordes of law-breaking wrongdoers. In general, the gunplay works very well, and only starts to get tiresome just as the game starts wrapping itself up. Like I said earlier though, the slow pace keeps it feeling unique, while the decent variety of weapons stop Robocop's iconic Auto 9 pistol, as well as the game in general, getting overly repetitive. The one real big gameplay letdown for me was Rogue City's severe lack of blood and gore. The original film's depiction of violence was nasty and did most of the heavy lifting, establishing the fictional version of near-future Detroit's huge issue with crime. The shortage of anything beyond some red mist in Robo's big video game adventure means it loses a lot of that gritty brutality that made the film so hard-hitting. You can blow off limbs, but nothing is visible behind the lack of an arm where there was one moments ago. And even that happens so often that any impact is quickly lost. Seriously, if I have to hear "Take my fucking hand off!" one more time, Robocop is going to have to blow my dick off to stop the crimes I'll commit against this game's audio designers. While I'm on that note, there's a noticeable stiffness to the animations, which I think works brilliantly for the mechanical movements of our main hero, not so much for the fully flesh and blood NPCs. The budget is obviously the biggest factor to that, and since the game's performance is consistently good, I'm happy to just enjoy the low-budget silly charm. Kinda like how I enjoy the crappy stop-motion animation from the original film. Also, this is the only appropriate time I get to show the clip of the guy falling out of the window and suddenly having really long arms. So let's just enjoy that. Honestly, the only reason I made this video was for an excuse to show that clip. Regardless of all the macro features, what really makes Rogue City work for me are all the small touches, like the competition for kills between Robocop and the OCP, or the upgrade system being a cute little puzzle game instead of a generic skill tree. These give the gameplay minor change-ups that prevent it getting stale when you're playing for longer than half an hour at a time. It also helps that the man himself, Peter Weller, returned to voice the character he brought sort of to life back in 1987. Weller's voice has a certain commanding element that makes him instantly recognizable and totally unreplaceable. Fuck off Robocop 3, no one wants to look at you right now. The guy clearly understands characters that are basically just chins living in near-future dystopias, which is why he is the best Batman.
I want you to remember that. I wanted to remind you to stay out of my way. In all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
The entire game is filled with loving homages. Some are subtle, and some are so on the nose, it feels like you're getting your limbs blown off in a hail of gunfire. Ironically, despite having countless generic criminals to shoot at, the game seems the most committed of any Robocop property to exploring Robocop's split psyche. I reckon that was a significant factor in Peter Weller agreeing to return after passing over Robocop 3 in favor of whatever the fuck he did. Some fucking Cronenberg film I can't remember off the top of my head. Naked something. It'll be on the screen. Anyway, Weller was always vocal about Murphy's human side needing to be the crux of the narrative, and here we get to see the perfect blend of big, bombastic, silly action and quieter, reflective, introspective discussion about what it means to be human. I've probably made it sound a lot deeper than it is, but the devs prove repeatedly throughout Rogue City that they truly care about the franchise and had a good reason to make this game besides being a quick IP cash grab. I think the highest compliment I can give the game is that it makes me want to play Deus Ex, which is a huge compliment in my book. Rogue City seems to borrow a lot from Human Revolution's structure and design choices, mainly making use of densely packed, smaller open sections over a huge empty open world. And that's brilliant because it lets Robocop get involved with fun side quest hijinks while also helping ease players into the disgustingly fictional version of future Detroit. I really didn't expect to enjoy Rogue City as much as I do, and yet I loved every second I spent in Robocop's big, metal, stompy boots. And by the end, I yearned for more Robo content. Not you, Robocop 3, you fucking creep, I've told you already! Now, I would like to know what you guys thought about Rogue City. Did you enjoy it? Are you considering playing it? Do you agree with me that Robocop 2 is better than 1? Because it is, and I'm sorry, that is just a fact. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you're feeling extra generous, we love and appreciate any and all of the likes that we get. Also, for those in a position to do so, we have a Patreon that helps support future content. We don't lock off any content there, but any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching this video. Remember, bad words make for bad feelings.